Welcome to the Morningstar Manager Checkup. I'm Holly Black. With me is John Miller. He's Head of Manager Research at Morningstar. Hello.
Hi, Holly.
So it's been a while since we done one of these where we have a little check-in of some of the funds you've been reviewing your ratings on. But I'm interested to find out how you're actually doing that and doing your manager meetings in the current situation.
Well, you're right. So much has gone on in the last couple of months, but I do have to say the privileged access we do have to meet fund managers face to face has continued, whether it be in the depths of the sell-off in March. We're still able to meet the fund managers. They still had time for us. And, as always, when we talk through the funds that we explain in these videos and the options in a positive ratings that we have, it's the long term that counts. And I think that's a lot of the message we've been giving in the last few months. So we need to caveat that as well with the ideas that we were going to talk about.
Okay, well, what is our first fund while we're at it?
So we'll start with Fidelity Emerging Asia. This retains its silver rating. It's been managed by a portfolio manager called DJ Fadnes for a number of years now. Emerging Asia in this sense means the fund has clear holdings in places like China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Korea. And what he does is he's got access to the 50 Analyst bank at Fidelity, so a lot of resource there to look into. But really, what he articulates in terms of the companies he invests in, what he looks for, and how that's executed in the portfolio, we think very highly of that. Ultimately, what he's looking for is quality management, economic moats, so stability around the business itself, and valuation. And we feel the results have been strong. It's priced competitively, and all that comes together to have quite a high conviction with the silver rating there.
Okay, and what's fund number two?
So number two, we'll go for an investment trust. So a very popular one for actually the followers of investment trusts out there. That's City of London. It's gone up to a gold, so our top rating, and it was silver before. The manager, Joe Curtis, has been there since 1991. And really, we think it's a compelling UK equity income option. So you've got the closed-ended structure, which helps. And Curtis is looking for balance sheet strength, cash generation, the ability to pay dividends.
And I think the dividends really is the key point there. This is a trust we would call a dividend hero because it's grown its payout, is it more than 50 years in a row? And that's only going to be more appealing in this environment, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's right. The year-on-year growth in dividends is hugely impressive. And it comes back to what I mentioned about the investment trust structure, which does give better optionality on how you can use that with the revenues. And in the upcoming environment, there is those revenues that can be tapped into to help support that dividend.
Okay, final fund.
So finally, T. Rowe Price Global Growth, and here we maintain a silver rating. So it's a bit different in terms of the global funds you tend to see. So especially with the growth side here, the manager Scott Berg, who's been running the strategy for since 2008. Again, cash generation and the ability to grow rapidly is part of the thesis. But what's different here is you've got about 160, 170 stocks. Whereas most global growth funds will have really 30, 40 focused picks that can really help on aggressively in terms of the focused portfolio. Here, the fund's still been able to outperform. It's been different in another way that it's got about more than 20% in emerging markets, and the index is more like 10%. So you've got India and parts of Southeast Asia heavily represented. And what we like at T. Rowe Price is a very strong analyst bank. Here, there's well over 150 global analysts. So you might think, well, that's too much for the manager to tap into. But he uses more the sector fund managers and regional fund managers to help in terms of the ideas that can come into this portfolio. Also, the analysts at T. Rowe Price are well remunerated in terms of how their stock picks perform over the long term. So we think tying those bits together with long-term thinking from the analyst bank, a process that's a bit different, but a manager that's proved that he can execute it, all come together to help with the silver rating there.
John, thank you so much for your time. For Morningstar, I'm Holly Black.